everything that I'm about to tell you is a very, very extremely condensed version of what I learned at Danny Johnson's seminar, the first steps to success. And I cannot encourage every single one on the team enough to get to one of those. And I know that they're not always really close by, but there is a reason that Summer has been telling us from, forever, that that's what changed her business, because I really believe that since I've gone, it's going to change mine. So I'm going to share what I learned, but I can't encourage that enough, because I learned so much. And you meet a lot of amazing people, and you get a lot of practice with this gyms training, because you meet all these people and everybody there is excited about gyms, and they try and guess your gym, you try and guess their gym. It's really cool. Okay, so hopefully a lot of you guys had a chance to take the little quiz, so you know a little bit about your gym before I describe all of these things, because if you do know what your gym is from that quiz, then some of these things might sound really familiar, and you might be able to tell, like, oh yeah, Jennifer is a sapphire, oh yeah, so-and-so is a ruby. But anyway, well, it's hard to guess me, right, Jennifer? Because didn't you? I
know, she's a closet sapphire.
I am. Well, and I say, like, I made a video recently. It's going to be in the new coach training group, but it's just because I was raised by a sapphire. I'm married to a sapphire, and I don't know, and I like to talk to. Okay, so we'll start with sapphires, because they're I think, most fun gym. I wish I was one, but I'm not. Anyway, sapphires are, let me tell you what the gems are, for those of you who don't know. Gems is what Danny Johnson calls different personality types. So she's categorized people into these 4 different categories, and it's there's nothing wrong with any of these traits or characteristics. It's just our natural, God-given. We have strengths and we have weaknesses, and she has just categorized those into types of people. And so that's what these gems are. So she calls people sapphires, pearls, emeralds, or rubies. And all of us have a primary and a secondary gem. And you can get a little bit more information on this too in her book. What, Jennifer, is it First Steps to Wealth? That's what the book is called.
First Steps to Wealth.
Yeah, First Steps to Wealth. That's by Danny Johnson. It's an awesome book, and she goes over this in that book too. So it's really good for your business, because you'll learn all these things that I'm going to just briefly go over. Okay, so you have a primary and a secondary gem. If you took the quiz, you know that. Sapphires are your party people. They are naturally optimistic, and these are the people that are motivated by fun. So if you tell them that you're going to have a Shakeology party and it's going to be awesome, and you're going to play music, and there are going to be games and prizes, they're going to get super excited, and they're going to want to be there. They're the people on your team who are going to motivate other people to have fun, and they draw people in. So sapphires are really great at business, because just people are attracted to them. They're drawn to them because they're just very charismatic. They wear flashy stuff. I'm not a sapphire, I promise, but I like flashy earrings. So they wear a lot of accessories. They might have different colors in their hair. You can sometimes spot them when you see them, because they're just very
yeah, the sapphires are the ones that are going to be wearing, like, hot pink. Typically. Yes. Yeah. They want to wear hot and shine.
Yeah, well, they might be wearing hot pink in their hair. Like, if any of you follow Sandy Krakowski, I don't know her gym, but I bet she's a sapphire. She has that hot pink, like, in her hair right here. Anyway, probably a sapphire. Sapphires verbally process everything. So they talk a lot, and there is not any filter when they speak. They just, they talk, and they just say whatever they're thinking, and because there's no, like, well, I don't know. Is there pause, Jennifer? Like, do you think Ron doesn't? I don't think Ron or my mom think very much.
I'm a little better now, but I usually don't, and that's what gets me in trouble a lot.
But naturally, you don't have a filter, right?
No.
Okay, so that's what it is. They're your risk takers. They're super spontaneous. They love new things. Danny Johnson said they represent God's creativity. That was my favorite thing that she said about sapphires, because I think that's so true. I also have a sapphire daughter, and she's super creative. I love that. Some of their strengths are they're really innovative. They're going to be your idea people. They're really great at motivating and encouraging others. But some of their, and I say this in the video that I made too, some of their weaknesses, which I didn't write down very many. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention. That's kind of unusual. Or maybe I just don't think of them as weaknesses. So they're only a couple. Sapphires are late all the time. Like, they're your people that if you are having a meeting at 6 o'clock, you are telling them that you are going to be there at 5:15, sometimes 5, because otherwise you're afraid they're going to be late. You're going to be waiting on them forever. That's a sapphire. I was always late for school because my mom she just couldn't get me there on time. Oh gosh, I begged her to let me ride the bus. What else? They're stress relievers though, because they like to have so much fun. They will they'll just make everything seem like not a big deal, and they're party people. They're gonna make you want to go to the party and forget about everything that you've been stressing about, and you're just gonna have a good time with them. They are not very good with routines. They can, develop that structure and habit and organization, but it doesn't come naturally to them. They have to work on that. And what else did she say? Oh, they're not really that great at conceptualizing long-term goals. That's another thing. It can be developed. It's just we all have weaknesses. I'm going to talk about them, all the gems, but that's one of theirs. They're not really good at seeing really far into the future. They're kind of more focused on like right now, what are we doing today? What's happening this minute? So they have to work on that. What's the next one? What should I talk about next? I like rubies too. They're cool. Rubies are your incredibly persistent people. You recognize them because they are they're competitors. They're the ones who are always looking for a challenge. And they are usually adrenaline junkies. So people who are skydiving or swimming with sharks or riding motorcycles really crazy fast, or I don't know, people who like to do really, I think of them as dangerous things, but they do really crazy outgoing things because they're motivated by a challenge. So rubies are your people. I don't know if y'all saw in the Team Push page where Jennifer posted about this month's prize that she's giving out for meeting the Success Club goals. That's why I said we're about to find out who the rubies are, because when rubies see a challenge like that, they're like, oh, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win that. That's a ruby. They're gonna beat everybody down, and they're gonna make sure that they get to the prize, that they're number one. Rubies like to do everything themselves instead of depending on or teaching others how to do it. So it can be a strength, but it can also be a weakness because it's a good thing if you can get things done yourself, but it's also not good when it comes to wanting to build a team, because you got to learn how to duplicate yourself and release some of that control so that others can, follow what you're doing. And so my husband is part ruby also. So that's hard because, whether it's in business or kids or whatever, you just want to do it yourself. Well, if you just do everything yourself, you're not teaching anybody else, your income's not going to grow, your team's not going to grow. So they have to work on that. They like being the leaders, and that's actually a gift. They have a gift of leadership. They are action-oriented people. So if you tell a ruby that you need something done, they'll make sure that it gets done. They're naturally very confident people. So they just, most of them, I don't know, Ron had to work on his confidence, but rubies are naturally very confident people. They're really quick decision makers. So your rubies are people that you're going to say, they'll just right away, like, be ready to join your challenge group, or yes, I want to sign up as a coach. And so they make really quick decisions. They're not really good at admitting when they've made a wrong decision. They won't admit that. They're really good at deadlines. So if you give a ruby a deadline, they'll meet it. Like because I guess that's part of their challenge. Like, what? Oh, I'm going to get it done. So they do that. They're very dependable. They are extremely strong-willed and bossy. So if you know somebody who's always wanting to be in charge, or they're always telling people what to do, or they're, just has a real bossy nature, they might be a ruby.
Really quick, I'm gonna interrupt you, but I don't get very many rubies. Probably because I have too much ruby in me. But they're going to be your entrepreneurs are typically, they're very business oriented. They're natural leaders. Like the people in school that the queen bees. You see them. They're leading. They're like in charge. They're making all the decisions. And they usually, they want to stand out. They have to be the best. So you can usually spot them. and it's almost easy on the phone because it's almost like they're competing with you with what you say. You're just like, I'm just trying to talk to you. It's not a competition. But just whenever you notice that competitive nature, just know that they're just being true to themselves and they're not really doing it on purpose. So I don't know if that helps. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that all of these things aren't, and that's one of the things that Danny talks about at the workshop was, we have to get out of our heads that we need to take all this stuff personally. It was a big takeaway that I had. She was like, these are just personality traits. This is just how people are. And if you understand that this is how people function and you know how they're motivated, then you'll know a little bit more about how to get them to do what you want. So that's it. You shouldn't be offended if someone's like trying to be better than you. You just know that they're super competitive. You're going to be able to depend on them. You give them the deadlines. You give them the actions. They're going to get it done. So it was amazing thing to go listen to her talk about all of these people. I thought this was, I don't know if she talked about this in the book, but I thought it was pretty cool because she said, I have a long list of weaknesses for rubies. Rubies are so bossy and independent that they don't like to be told what to do. So, isn't this true? Yes, you know this. I know. They don't like to be told what to do, and they do not like accountability. Because I guess she kind of said, like, accountability to them is like, you explain it, Jennifer. How come they don't like accountability?
Well, I think it really comes down to, I think it's that competitive nature is, because you want to be perfect. And so you see, okay, so say so-and-so posts that they had a great day and you didn't, then you feel like you failed and she's better than you. So you don't want to play. That's the thing. If a Ruby's going to lose, she won't play. I don't know about a guy, but we just won't play. And I definitely have those tendencies. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's how my sister, either she's a closet Ruby or she doesn't want to admit it, but she's one of those people. If she's playing a game and then she starts losing, she's out. That's it. She's not anymore. And I'm like, what? Come on. No, she will not play. Okay. These are some of their Ruby weaknesses. I'm telling you, I didn't write down hardly any for sapphires. I feel really bad about that, but I'm telling you, maybe I just don't see whatever she was saying as weaknesses, or I didn't realize that's what she was talking about. Okay, for Ruby, this is how they feel. No one can do it better or faster than them. That's Ruby mindset. They need to learn how to work with others. They have a hard time with that. Many of them battle with depression, burnout, or nervous breakdown. And this is why. It's because they are really, really hard on themselves. They take on way too many responsibilities because they don't want to depend on other people. They just want to do it themselves. And so they work, and they burn out. So she said they really need to work. She said they'll do things like they'll forget to sleep or eat because they're working so hard to get to the top to be number one. So they really need to work on that. They need to work on balance, and, it's okay. You're going to get there in time. Just, you don't want to work so hard that you fizz out, because then that's not doing you any good. They have to she said that it's really hard for them to learn to take correction. They're easily provoked into defiance and rebellion. Oh, I could tell you so many stories of this with Ron. He would not like me to tell them. Okay, and I already said that. They need to learn that it's okay to be held accountable to something, and they need to work on mastering time management. Okay, I feel like I'm taking too long on all these, but I'm telling you, there's so many good things. Emerald.
You're doing good. I think you're okay on time. I think don't we get 45 minutes for the thing?
Do we?
We have 20 minutes left.
Okay. Emerald is my secondary gem. And I think this is important to say, because a lot of the things that come naturally to an actual emerald are things that can be learned by the other gems. So I thought before I went to this training that my husband was a sapphire emerald, because he has a lot of these traits of emeralds. But then I listened and I took all these notes, and then we had him take the quiz, and he's actually a sapphire ruby. So, just be aware of that, because Jennifer, now that you've been in business for a while, you do a lot of these things.
Yeah.
But this is what we're talking about is not skills that you can develop or things that you do now. It's what comes naturally to you, how you have been from the, you know,
well, I think it's a really good thing to learn. Well, one, you're learning so that you can interact with other people. But two, I think it's good to learn more about yourself so that you can work on your weaknesses. Like for me, when I kind of did this training, I realized, and through life experiences, that I really struggle with time management and organization. And I have had to really grow in that area because as I've grown as a leader, I mean, those, you know, if I forget to do what I said I was going to do, that makes me look kind of bad. And I don't want to look bad because I'm part Ruby. So, you know.
Right.
But so you just have to learn your weaknesses, and so you can work on them, because everybody has strengths, and I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm not saying that it's bad to have weaknesses, but never mind, I suck at this. That's why I need like information, but I get so nervous when I get on here. I don't know why. But just work on it. Work on your strengths, work on your weaknesses, and learn.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and this is the thing too, like, you know, she talked about how a lot of times people are, that's how come I was so curious to find out what Ron's gem was. And that's why I said, if you're married, see if you can figure out your spouses or have them take the quiz. Because when you really understand how these work, like, I have always known that Ron and I were opposites. But now that I know, like, we are at exact opposites. I'm a Pearl Emerald, he's a Sapphire Ruby, like exact opposites. And it's awesome because it makes for a really good, like, we balance each other out. And I think that that's how things work on a team. You know, she says you don't want to look for people who are exactly like you, because then you're going to, you know, like if you have a team full of sapphires, nobody's going to get anything done. You can have lots of parties, maybe a lot of fun, but and not that sapphires can't get things done. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, everybody has different skills and strengths, and so you balance out the weaknesses. But because look at my earrings. Like, if I didn't have my sapphire husband, I'd never wear things like this. He's taught me how to be more fun. I love that. Okay. Emerald. Emeralds are motivated by facts. So when you meet an emerald, you're going to know it, like, pretty much right away, because they are going to ask you a gazillion questions. I mean, like, they never stop. Never. They ask questions about, I have one emerald son, and Lord help that child. He is just like me when I was growing up. You will just, like, the questions are never ending. And I mean, they don't even matter. Sometimes they don't even matter. It's because they love to analyze things. They're just, every little thing they can think of, they're analyzing it, figuring out, how does this work? How does that work? Why do we have to do this way? How come we have to leave at that time? Oh my gosh. They're very complicated people. This is in my notes. I'm not making this up. Mm-hmm. They actually enjoy instructions, because then they know it's a simple process, right? They can follow the instructions. So you tell them what to do, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. They're like, okay, got it. Instructions. I'm going to follow them. They're the type of people who are going to read the entire recipe before they do anything. They're not going to mix it. They're going to read the entire thing. If they get something that needs to be assembled, they're going to, you know, take it all out of the box and count, okay, do I have this many screws? Do I have this many this? Make sure everything's there before they even start to try and put it together. They love accuracy. They love organization. They're the people that, if you go to their house and they have a party and you want to help load the dishwasher, they have to redo it when you leave because you did not load the dishwasher correctly. They ask, well, I already said they ask lots of questions. This is important to know. Emeralds will not be pressured into making a decision about anything. You cannot pressure them. You cannot rush them. They will shut out from you. They'll block you out. They'll shut down. They have to be able to process and analyze and research themselves before they can make a decision. So no matter how much pressure or what kinds of convincing things you try to say, you have to just give them that time to process the information on their own. And if you do that and respect that, then they're gonna sign up with you. They're gonna do it. They just need that time. Jennifer knows. How long was it, Jennifer? How many months did we talk? 7?
Was it that long?
God, it was a long time. It was a long time.
Yeah.
Poor Jennifer.
Yeah, but you weren't. Sorry, my error. You weren't really like the typical emerald though. Like I had, I don't know if she's on here, but if she watches it, she'll see it. Nikki, She was a great example because I knew I'm getting better about identifying. I mean, you can't identify someone perfectly because we all have different traits. Like I have emerald traits. I analyze everything too. But you'll get better. So I got Nikki on the phone, and this girl was asking me like a million different questions. She wasn't doing it fast either, because that's me, man. I'm like, I won't let you answer. I'll just be like, you know, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking through everything. She was very calm, and she was like asking me questions, and she was understanding things. And I was just like, wow, you know, and I think it's awesome when people ask questions because, you know, it's good. But I knew right away this girl is definitely emerald, and you have to address those issues. You don't want to always act like you know everything. Like don't pretend, because they'll lose respect for you. So if you do not know, always send them to a third-party tool. So I always like I'll explain what I can, and then I'll be like, you know, when we get off the phone, I'm going to send you some information, and you can look that over, and then you'll have everything you need. Like direct them to the source, and they'll find it. They'll figure it out. So
yeah. Well, that makes sense. Then that's probably why I didn't seem like a typical emerald to you, because I'm also a pearl. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But so I didn't want to bother you. I knew you were on vacation then. So I did a bunch of research before we even talked that last time, before I signed up. I was on Shakeology. I was reading. I was Googling. I was watching YouTube video. I mean, like for weeks. It was crazy. Okay. What else did I say? Oh, they're extremely persistent people, and they have a deep appreciation for perfection. But that also is one of their faults, because emeralds need to learn how to value relationships more than perfection. That's a yucky thing. They want things to be perfect, so then they expect other people to be perfect, even though they're not perfect, and it can cause a lot of hurt and ickiness. So they've got to work on. Why do I feel like I can't talk?
That's all right.
They just have to work on value.
Oh, sorry.
They have to work on value relationships more than doing something perfectly. And I have more notes.
So hot in here.
Emeralds don't have a lot of patience, and but emeralds are your fine tuners. So they're the people who they're the people who are going to be like, oh, you spelled that wrong. Oh, can we fix that punctuation? Oh, can we word it this way? Oops. And so they're the people who, they're not trying to put you down. They're not trying to be ugly. They just want to help They just want to help you polish things. So they're going to be your polishers, which is good, I think. Okay, I'm going to go real quick because I only have a few minutes left. Pearls. This is the last gem. This is my primary gem. Pearls are motivated by service. They're your people that are always working for a cause. They always want to help people. If you tell them, you know, you're not going to get them into the business by saying, you're going to make 6 figures. No, you are going to get them into the business by saying, you are going to be able to inspire and help so many people lose weight and change their lives. The Pearl's going to be like, what? Okay, how do I sign up? What do I need to do? They are motivated by cause, helping people, and service. Oh, this is why I forgot this. Pearls are like a light side of the sapphire, is what she said. So they have a lot of the same traits as a sapphire. They don't like to be pressured either. So kind of same along the lines of the emerald. You can't pressure them. They're good listeners. You can always trust a pearl. So if you have a really trustworthy friend or family member or somebody that you know people are always trusting, they're probably a pearl. They care about comforting people, taking away their pain, and they also care a great deal about quality service and products. So they're going to make sure that Shakeology or the workouts or whatever it is that you're doing are actually something that's going to work. So they might be your people who are like, well, let me try it and see, and then I'll decide if I want to do this, because they're not going to promote or do anything that they don't think is actually going to help people. So that's true for me too. I signed up as a discount coach, and I was like, well, let me see how it goes. And then after, I think a month or so, well, maybe less than that. Could have been less than that. I don't know, maybe a month. I saw how awesome it was, and I had to start telling everybody about it because I wanted to help people. I couldn't believe what amazing things it was doing for my family. Okay, weaknesses. biggie for pearls. They cannot say no. So they're your people who are always stressed out, overworked, exhausted, because they're always helping everybody and anybody. They battle with selfishness, because actually they think that they're being selfless, by helping so many people. But really, they need to figure out why they're doing that. Why are they overextending themselves? They're serving so many people and overextending themselves in so many places that it's really kind of being selfish, because they're doing it for themselves a lot of times because they want to feel needed. And so that's why she says it makes them, it's really a selfish thing. That's bad. Oh, this is really true. And I didn't like hearing this. They hate confrontation. Pearls do not like confrontation. So if you hurt their feelings, or if you, if you know someone who's usually really nice, they're, usually like the sweetest person ever. You could trust them with anything. They are always helping people, whatever. But then one day you see them they just have this massive explosion of emotions, and they're crying and they're yelling and they're, upset with everybody around them, and they're a pearl. Because what happens is, since they don't like confrontation, when something hurts their feelings, or when somebody does something that they don't like, they don't say anything about it. And then they think about it, and then maybe something happens again and they don't say anything, and then it happens again, they don't say anything. Anyways, and it just builds and builds and builds, and then they have like a little explosion, and they'll tell you about 2 years ago how you hurt their feelings real bad, and you don't even remember what the heck they're talking about. So pearls need to stop running from confrontation. But anyway, so like real quick, sapphires are your party people, optimistic, motivators, encouragers. Emeralds are your organizers, your polishers, the people who like to analyze everything and they love facts. Pearls are motivated by service and helping people. And rubies are your competitive go-getters. I'm going to be the best. We're going to do this thing, people. So that is a really short.
Yeah, we could definitely go longer. We have 5 minutes left. Maybe we should do our next call on kind of like some interactions. Do you think? Like talk.
That'd be cool. Yeah, because you know what we should do? We should set up role-playing partners, and then we could try and guess each other's gems while we watch the role-playing. Why don't we do that? Okay.
All right, because I really want y'all to see that. I want y'all to see why it's important to kind of learn this, so that you can understand your potential clients a little bit more. And also, when you have new coaches, you can learn how to motivate them a little bit more. There's no secret way, but you can learn different techniques and learn how to work with people. Like, for instance, like the emeralds, the sapphires drive you guys crazy. Like, I'm sure, I think Liz, aren't you an emerald? Did you say emerald? You shake, Liz? No, she's not listening. But anyway, oh, you are? Okay. But we drive them crazy because we're all over the place. And so you just have to learn, like, that's just normal, and we all complement each other. Like, I need someone more organized, but we need each other. We got to learn how to work together. All right.